Good morning, everybody. It is June 21st, fairly early in the day, I guess, mid-morning anyway. We had our longest day yesterday, and today, according to the thing that I looked at on the internet, we lose our first second, so we're on our way downhill again through to just before Christmas when we'll have our shortest day, but don't want to think about that yet. I just thought I'd take a little time to show you a few things that are happening in the hoop house here and possibly one or two things out in the garden. These are the Chinese radish. I've harvested all my small red radish, and I'm really not certain how long you're supposed to allow these to grow, but they're not showing any sign of bolting. And hopefully I can spread some of the foliage there and show you what the root looks like. In several instances it's several inches above ground. I've tried to host some dirt up around it, but of course there isn't a great deal of soil available in here for that purpose, but they're growing quite nicely. I think that's the area that I want to show you. How much is down in the soil, but it's a good 6 inches above the soil here, and it's as big around as a very large carrot. So I still think it's quite similar to the Japanese daikon, but it's called a Chinese radish. And from different things that I've looked at on cooking programs on the internet and whatever, I think the Chinese also refer to it as a turnip. They use it in soups and what have you. I'm anxious to try it, see what it's like. These are the melons that I'm growing in smart pots. I chose these two to show you because it's the two different varieties and they're close together. This one is the cantaloupe type melon, and this is the very small, I think it's called sugar baby, very small watermelon. Anyway, so far so good. They're coming along. No blossoms or really no vining yet, but there is hope. The other example of this one down the further end of the bench is probably twice that size. It's more on a size with this cantaloupe. But anyway, these two are close together, so I thought those are the two I would show you. This is sort of interesting. I had romaine lettuce growing here, just 2 plants. And when I harvested them, I didn't pull them up, roots and all, because I didn't want to disturb the shallots that were growing close to them. I just cut them off at the base, and then I put in a couple of ground cherries. That's the ground cherry. It actually has its first blossom bud coming on the top there. But where I cut this romaine off, it has started up from the base again, and it's basically 3 different plants all coming from the, well, I guess there's a 4th one coming down in there now. I don't think I'll let them grow, into a head of romaine, but let them get bigger and use it for leaf lettuce, I guess. Regenerated itself. The corn has not exactly been excelling in here, but about a week ago I sort of cultivated around each one of the clumps of plants and top dressed with some organic 444 fertilizer, and a few of them now are starting to shove up like that one, so there is hope, I guess, of getting some at least half decent plants out of it, and maybe an ear or two of corn. And these are my Amazon jungle peanuts that I showed a few videos ago. The plants continue to grow. I don't think they're growing all that fast, but I have no idea what to expect from peanuts, other than I understand the peanut itself is under the soil. Any of you people from the south that grow peanuts, I'd love to have some more information, so feel free to leave comments here and tell me if there's anything I should be doing by way of fertilizer or whatever they might require. The globe artichoke started from seed, I think, in late February. Is putting on new leaves almost constantly now, and seems to be doing okay. Again, I'm no artichoke farmer, but perhaps before the cold weather we'll see an artichoke on it. If you remember one of my earlier videos this winter, I propagated some rosemary from rosemary sprigs that I bought in a supermarket. Had really good luck with them rooting. I sold them all in my charity plant sale except one that I saved for myself, and that's it on the left. On the right is some of the basil that I had left over from the sale. I got that growing, I guess, in 3 different spots in here. Different sorts of basil. I think that one is cinnamon basil. I have the Genovese, the regular Italian type basil, and the opal basil, and I'm not certain what the third kind is yet, but they're just stuck in the soil here, there, and everywhere to hopefully go with tomatoes sometime soon. There's sort of a long shot down the row of various kinds of peppers and my 7 different kinds of tomato plants, both of which are in bloom, and I'm using a toothbrush, a cheap electric toothbrush for pollinating, and that seems to be working quite well. There's a lot of very small peppers and very small tomatoes on the vines, but nothing really to show you yet. And in the foreground here, that's a couple of eggplants. And this one pepper here I'll show off, I'm very pleased with and glad that it so far is doing quite well. That's the ají dulce, a Latin American pepper that a lady from Puerto Rico sent me the seeds. No buds or anything yet, but the plant is certainly looking healthy. And it's such a beautiful little pepper. I hope I'm successful in getting it to bloom and to set peppers. If you remember, sometime in winter, probably February or early March, anyway, the ground in here was frozen solid. I did a little experiment. I just scratched in 3 short rows, and I had some leftover seeds, 2 different kinds of onions and 1 kind of leeks. And I just put the seed in to see if they would germinate. Well, they did. I've lost a lot of them because I dug them up when I was planting other things, but those are leeks, and I'm just about to dig them up and transplant them just a little further on in the bed here because they're growing too much on the surface. The leek should be down in the ground further so that you get some white leek. And I also, both of the kinds of onions are a little further on, but they're up, and I'm just going to leave them where they're at, see if I get any onions out of it by fall. Hopefully you can see that. It's very difficult to film it where it's at. It's under one of the benches. This was a gift from one of my nieces for my birthday back in April. Minimum, maximum thermometer. I just wanted to show you what the temperature has been getting up to in here. Just yesterday I would think was probably the hottest day because it did get up close to 30 degrees or slightly over 30 degrees outside, and it went to 45 degrees in here, which is I guess about 108 or 9 Fahrenheit. And I haven't reset this since back in sometime in March when the temperature went down to about 3 degrees, I guess is the minimum line that's reading there. And currently it is about 29 degrees in here. Even on relatively cool days, around 20 degrees outside, it gets up above 30 in here. So there really is great advantage in this climate with the hoop house. I'll show you 1 or 2 things in the garden and then I'll leave you alone. I just put this up yesterday. It's a mason bee house. The little tubes are all bamboo, and I like the design and the looks of it. Time will tell, I guess, if I get any mason bees that move in. We do have them. I've had them build their nest on the side of my house before, actually above the door that comes into my kitchen. They're called mason bees for a very good reason. The stuff that they build out of is almost as indestructible as concrete. But they are native pollinators here, and there's a lot of effort involved now in trying to make sure that they have habitat. And this particular nest, they will supposedly lay it full of brood and food, and over the winter the brood will hatch and eat the food, and come spring they will come out and start the next colony of mason bees and pollinate your garden for you. So that's all theory. I'm waiting to see whether it actually works here. Well, to finish off and try to keep this thing below an hour here, I'll just take you and show you a few of the things that are growing in this one particular square foot garden area that is behind rabbit fencing. What you're looking at now is a bed full of rutabagas, and at the back is a row of peas. And Those peas are the heirloom variety tall telephone. The rutabagas are starting off quite nicely. I think I'm going to have to thin some, but I just sort of loosened the soil around those a week or so ago and gave them another little boost of organic fertilizer too, and they seem to be picking right up. In the bed next to it, in the back, are the heirloom variety of peas, the blue potted peas, and the rest of that bed is full of carrots, and they're coming along nicely as well. And then there are two more beds here, and they both have new strawberry plants in them, ever-bearing, and I've been picking the blossoms off like crazy, but they are now starting to get some runners, and I don't think I see any more blossoms. The next batch of blossoms sometime late summer or mid to late summer. I guess I can let those grow, and I will have a few ripe berries in the fall. Anyway, that will do for this particular update. Thank you very much for watching.